summer for the past 8 years or so, I've volunteered on staff at the Westchester University Poetry Conference. It's the biggest poetry-only conference in the country. Now, I know you're all impressed by that. I'll give you some of the reactions. I remember one night, the night before the conference, I was out in Westchester, and I was drinking, and I heard this guy say, he was from out of town. And I piped up, I'm like, oh, are you here for the poetry conference? And he was like, dude, that's the gayest thing I've ever heard. So I know that's the perception of it, but it's actually a really cool conference. I mean, it's like actually the drunkery conference because we do so much drinking. But for as an aspiring poet or myself, I got to meet a lot of poets. I got to learn a lot of stuff. I've met Pulitzer Prize winners. I've met people who are knighted, Sir Christopher Ricks, Dame Wendy Cope. And one summer in particular, when I was the graduate assistant at the WCU Poetry Center, our keynote speaker was Donald Hall. And I don't know, if you don't follow contemporary poetry, that probably doesn't mean a lot to you, but he's a big deal as a contemporary poet. He was a former poet laureate of the United States, like the official poet of the country and everything. So as the graduate assistant, my job was going to be to chauffeur him around. So this was going to be a big opportunity. I was going to get to meet this big, famous poet, respected poet. And so, I mean, being, the type of guy I am, when I get an opportunity like that, my reaction is anxiety. So I was a little anxious about that. And they were, honestly, to have me chauffeur this guy around, they were putting a lot of trust in me because the summer before, I lost my car. It's a long story. I thought I parked it in one spot, and turns out I didn't even drive it there, and I reported it stolen. And the security drove it. So, the summer following that, they were trusting me with Donald Hall to drive them around. They even made a poster for me that says, Luke Stromberg's car is, and there was like a Velcro thing where you could post different locations. And it was hanging up. So, I'm going to drive Donald Hall around. I went to pick him up at the Holiday Inn in Westchester. I was going to pick up Donald Hall and his lady friend, as he referred to her. And, he's an older guy. And I get there, I'm nervous, and I pulled in, and I was a little crooked with my car. It's busy. People are leaving. The banquet's about to start. So I'm like, let me straighten out my car here. I don't want to look like a jackass when I'm picking up Donald Hall here. And I backed up, and as I was backing up, another car was coming, and bang, I T-boned it, like I backed right into it, right? And I got out, I'm like, oh my God, I got in the car. And who gets out of the car but Connecticut poet laureate Dick Allen. And he was really cool about it. I'm like, oh man, I'm so sorry. It wasn't like really serious, but it was a dent. And he was like, I'll see you later. We'll exchange information there. And I go in, I get Donald Hall. I'm like super nervous. And now this opportunity, I was going to get to meet this guy. I'm so frazzled, and all I'm thinking about is I can't believe I crashed into a car on the way here. So I drove him. I don't even remember too much about his reading because I'm just like so a neurotic mess and everything. And so I'm driving him back that night, and my friend Julie was driving with me because I guess they figured, let's send someone with him to make sure he doesn't kill him on the way there. And the first thing he says is, earlier I saw your name was on this poster here that was hanging up. What was that all about, where your car was? And Julie's like, oh, that's a really funny story. And she tells him about how I lost my car. And then I guess she figured she was helping. She's like, oh, but don't worry, he was really drunk then. And he's like, well, you're not drunk now, are you? So that was embarrassing. So I kind of, I didn't get a real chance to, I did get to talk to him, but I was sort of such a, nervous and upset about crashing the car. I didn't get a chance really to bond with Donald Hall. But I did get a chance to bond with Dick Allen. who was really cool about me crashing into his car, and told me a lot of stories about. Apparently, he has crashed into a lot of cars in his life. So that's my story. What should have been a glorious day, but turned out to be kind of embarrassing day.